Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am here, obviously doing the thing that we do every time we're here. So I pulled out, this is very much an old kit. I pulled this out, I pulled this out of my stash because I so want to use it. It's these blues, I'm loving this blue, but y'all know my affinity to blue right now. So like it never ends, but an oldie but a goodie. But I don't really have anything specific happening this week, so it's like, well, why not go ahead and just pick a kit you haven't used yet. But I'll be honest with you, it was like a little bit of a struggle trying to figure out what kit to use, because I didn't really know which one I wanted to use. I probably sat here for a good 30 minutes going through my stash trying to figure out what needs to happen, which is also why I probably need to really hone in on what kit I'm going to use every week so that I don't forget. Oh man, it's been a Saturday. I know this is not a movie. I know this video is going to be going up on Monday, and let me just tell you that when I do my filming on Saturday, one, it's so hot. Down here, we're all under heat advisories. And so it's just super hot in here. So I actually have 2 fans going right now, so that I can stay cool while I'm doing this and stuff. One's a really small fan that's just really kind of to help circulate the air, and then the other one is a bigger fan, and I have it directed right towards my back to help keep me cool. So hopefully, like, the camera isn't picking up any of that noise, because that would be not great. So, but it has been a Saturday, and I had to lay down. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit. There we go. I had to take a nap. I was just exhausted, and I'll explain on Friday why exactly I was exhausted, because it has something to do with the kids. So I'll leave that for the kids' memory keeping planner. But yeah, just super exhausted, and it kind of hit me, and I was like, I need to go lay down. I feel like if I don't and I start doing this planning, I'm gonna like fall over in the middle of a video. That's really how it felt. So, okay, we are starting with the 20th. And I'm gonna get these date dots going, which means we end on I don't know what date. So, I'm over here looking at my side. I can't count and talk at the same time, you guys. It's just a struggle. I am just struggling. That's all. So, I'm thinking back to some of the comments that I've seen. I've got to get better at responding to YouTube comments. So I want, first and foremost, I see them. I'm just really bad about not answering them, or I should say responding to them in a timely manner. So I see your stuff. I just don't want you guys to think you're being ignored, because you're not being ignored. It's just, I always forget to schedule it into my day, and then I'm sitting there at night. And I know that I can answer from the app. I prefer the desktop. It just is easier for me. I've hit that age. I just have hit that age where I have my preferences, and I like my preferences. So, well, I mean, I guess that's why they're called preferences, right? So I see them. However, that totally segues me into another like topic, because I'm trying to get better at some things, and one is being social media, and planning ahead and things like that. So I hate doing things on a whim. It's very frustrating. I try to plan out as best as I can so that I'm not having to do like last minute stuff. So I have noticed with my pen and ink planner, like we've all talked about my pen and ink planner. So my pen and ink planner is the stuff that runs the house, like tells me what needs to be done when. It shows me like what projects I'm working on, like the whole 9 yards, right? So I'm wondering if we have a color to match this kit. You know me, I am like really just obsessed. I was gonna say borderline obsessed, but we all know at this point that I'm just obsessed with a sticky note on every day. So, but I digress. So I don't have a lot of room to write in this planner, especially on the weekends. And well, I work on the weekends. There's no doubt about that, because as a business owner, your work never ends. And then obviously as a parent, your work never ends. So I was like, I need a bigger planner. Things are getting just more and more extensive. I'm needing to make sure that I'm not forgetting things, because I have been forgetting so much lately. So much. And it's been awful. I mean, I'm even still forgetting things that I write down in my planner. I'm still forgetting that they're happening, and it's just because of the massive amount of stuff just going on between, obviously moving, unpacking, running the business, convention, those things. And I was like, I need more space, and I need more like designated space and stuff, so that I can write things down. And as I go throughout the day, I actually take just a normal highlighter. It doesn't matter, because at this point I'm not color coding. I know we talked about that last week, but I'm not color coding. So let's see, I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. And I've really been enjoying the 3-spot checklists. Those have really been just kind of saving my life. So I think I'm gonna just keep going for it. But anyways, what was I talking about? Man, I'm really bad at this. I think I'm gonna use these patterned boxes because, one, they're just amazing. They're just amazing patterns. And I just feel like it needs it for this kit. So, okay, perfect. Planner. So I need designated spots. I'm just gonna go off with what I remember that I was talking about. So designated spots, I just take a normal highlighter right now as I go through the day and stuff, and just mark it off. I'm not color coding right now. My life does not need that at this point, and stuff. However, I will say, like, I can't do decorative planning and everything that needs to go on because the list is so long. So this is more like, okay, I'm going to lay this down, and this is more now very, very specific to being just a work memory keeping, because obviously there's just things that I just can't share yet, because they're things that are in the works and stuff like that. So, but I ordered me a bigger planner. I had to upgrade to an 8.5 by 11 because the 7 by 9 is just not working for me anymore. And I went up to an 8.5 by 11, and I now have like some designated spots. So I'm hoping that this really is what works because I kind of need it. All right, so let's do this number. I'm going to kind of keep going in order, just slightly. Yes, no, I'll keep going in order. So yeah, I'm hoping that by having the designated sections, it's going to help me out a lot more on staying on top of things like social media comments, posts to do, because as small business owners, I'm sure you guys have seen it go around on like Instagram and stuff. As small business owners, you're expected to be content creators as well. Oh, I don't want to use the red because the red's there. And it's true. And I will tell you, I mean, if you are on Instagram, you know how hard it is to get posts scheduled and stuff like that. Like it's difficult. And thinking up stuff to post about, and and the latest thing that has least been popping up in my feed has been everything is content. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's very, very stressful. I get that it's like filming it and showing it off, and there's lots that I'd love to show off, but it's one of those other added steps that you have to make sure you have the right tripod, that your camera is faced the right way, that you're actually getting it. And that's a whole other realm of just thinking about things that it's just like, this is exhausting. So I'm like, but it's one of those things that also needs to be done, because people want to see, I want to show, but how do you get better at it? Obviously practice, but how do you get better at it? You have to schedule it out, make sure you're not running around like a crazy person. So that's my whole big, I kind of like segued into all of this. So yes, I got me a new planner, a bigger planner, to kind of help get my life together. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing here. We're getting even more of my life together to ensure that we are golden. Okay. Now that we're on Wednesday, and I was looking at the comments, and somebody, Teresa, I believe it was you, had asked, I would, or had stated, I'd be really interested in knowing how you got your shop name. So I don't think I've ever told that story before. Maybe I have, maybe in like a little snippet or something, but I figured now that we're here on Wednesday, I can actually like dive into it. Now I can use the red one. So I'm trying not to put so many colors together. Okay. And we all know that my favorite full box goes here, and that kitty is just too darn cute to pass up. All right, so shop name. Before I get into the shop name, I have to kind of give some background as to how we got to where we were. Okay, so this is not the first business that I have owned. I believe I have mentioned that I did the cash envelope system wallets that I would make from fabric and stuff, and that one, I had to obviously learn how to do a name and everything. So we start way back then, because name picking for your business, it's hard, you guys. It's not an easy task. So I knew that I wanted it to be, because I was like gung-ho mom, here I was, stay-at-home mom, wanted to have, all the things about motherhood. And I'm like, okay, well, it's usually moms who are doing the finances. How can I incorporate the word mom or something, or like an acronym for mom in the shop? So I ended up just playing around with words, 3 words that spelled out MOM, and I ended up on moon orchid motifs, and that is actually what I had my business in for such, I'm trying to, did I skip a color on these? I did. I did not realize that I skipped, did I skip a color? No, I couldn't have skipped a color. 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh. So green, red, sorry, I'm just over here looking. I think I did. I think I skipped, I don't know. All right, I'll worry about it later. So we, I played around with words to come up with came up with moon orchid motifs, and that's kind of what I had for quite a while. And it worked. It worked for what I needed, what I wanted. I liked it. I was pretty happy with it. You know, and then things started to evolve. And when I say started to evolve, I started to move in a different direction. I still was like, especially when we moved, I no longer was really sewing my wallets. I no longer sewing my wallet. Sorry, I was like, what am I missing? I'm missing a sticker here. No longer sewing my wallet, so I needed to kind of evolve my name, and that evolved into green tea and cotton. And really, honestly, the name behind green tea and cotton was the mere fact that I loved green tea, and I loved cotton because I was always sewing. Merged the two together. There was like no big brilliance behind that name, and everything. And that's actually what I started my shop name out as. And then it was, you know, it changed not too long after that. But that's what my shop name started out as. And then we got into Avalon and Ninth. And this one has more meaning to it. So I was like, I want to change my name, and I need something that has a little bit more meaning to it. And I started thinking back to things that made me happy in my childhood, things that I would do, places I would go, people I would see, and I always wound up back to my grandparents' house and a restaurant we frequented that wasn't very far from their house, that we frequented all the time that I was up there. So I grew up in my grandmother's house. Like, I spent the first 5 years of my life there before my mother married my stepdad, and you know, we moved in obviously with him. So I ended up always coming back to those street names where those things were. So my grandparents' driveway, nope, I don't want to use this one, or street name was Avalon, and then the restaurant we would frequent was on 9th East. And so I brought them together, Avalon and 9th, because they were two of my favorite things, and they were two. And a lot of it comes from the fact that it was my grandfather that was, you know, that was the house that he bought. That's the house that his kids grew up in. That's the house that my mother and my aunt grew up in. I grew up in that house. My grandmother still lives in that house. Like, I love that house. And then that restaurant just had so much meaning for me. And he was such a hard worker and never gave up and stuff. And it was just that kind of work ethic that just kind of inspired me to always keep going and doing stuff. So that is the meaning behind Avalon and Ninth. It has a lot to do with how I was raised, who I grew up around, and kind of just an homage to, you know, people that inspired me. Obviously my grandfather. And this restaurant is still around. This restaurant has been around since before my parents were, or before my mother was born. So it's been around for a really, really long time. All right, it's time to pull out our functional subs and see if we can find a color to match. It's almost like I want to match this purple color, but I know that that's going to be hard because I don't have a purple like that in my collection. Okay, Vault of 2020 I know is going to be a good one because that red is going to match really well. The orange could match really well. So I'm going to keep that in mind. So yeah. And this restaurant, you know, owned by a family, hard workers coming up with their own stuff. Very popular restaurant. Always, always busy. Oh, maybe I do. That's a little too dark, though, I think. What do you guys think? Is that a little too dark? Yeah, that's a little too dark. Okay. And, you know, they never expanded. They never did that. They wanted, it was very, oh, I think maybe we do have it. Oh, look at that, you guys. That's a pretty good darn match. I like that. Cool. September 2021. You're winning it this time. I'm not even gonna go further than that because I know this is it. So they kept it all in the family, so they didn't do like any expansions or anything like that, which I know a lot of people are like, that's crazy. Don't know why you wouldn't want to expand. And they just didn't want to expand because they wanted to keep things small and not dramatic and crazy that happens when you expand things. So it all just kind of brings it back to, you know, how hard work and just doing what you're good at brings it back for me that way. So yeah, so that is the story behind Avalon and Ninth. I don't ever see us changing our shop name because it's just it's what this is. Oh, there's my full boxes. So yeah, I was like, no, just people who have inspired me, hard work and doing what you do best. You know, they never the restaurant we go to, they never like tried to bring in other types of cuisines or anything. They just did and focused on what they do best. And I'm like, you know what? When you focus on what you do best, like that's, you can't go wrong. So, and I try to remember that every time I'm like, what should I bring to the shop? Well, you know, we dive in function. We want you to be functional. We want you to be, you know, good at what you do. And stuff. So that's where all that comes from. I hope it wasn't too boring of a story or anything like that. And hopefully it hit where like that you think it's a good story and for where the shop name comes from. I don't know. You know, you'll let me know down below. But yeah, that is kind of the evolution of what Avalon and Ninth is. And I couldn't be happier. Okay, do I want to use any of these? I don't think I'm going to use any of those stickers today. Should we use our last half box? I think so. I think I'm going to use the last half box. Although I haven't really been like putting stuff in there to mark. So it's kind of like, what am I doing here? All right, and I think we'll go with a habit tracker because I have been, did I do it there? Nope, I didn't do it there. Was it this week? Yeah, I put a habit tracker down on this week, and I'm really, really digging it to mark the days that I listen to my ebooks. There we go. kind of space that out some. How's that? That habit tracker is super crooked. Oh my gosh. Much better. Much better. Okay. So let me get this stuff cleaned up here and everything. So yeah. I hope, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you liked the background of where we, you know, how we came up with it and, you know, what it means. Because like I said, I don't think I've ever really explained it, but that is really the inspiration behind it. So, and I am so digging this spread. Oh my gosh, I'm super glad that we found that because that matches really well. But I am loving this. Clearly we wanted stuff here and then we were just like, let's stagger it down below. All right, maybe one of these days I'll do like this number with the sticky notes where it goes up like that, or even goes up there and then back down. Like, I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, that you leave a comment down below. If you'd like to share it, share. You know, I'm not opposed to sharing anything. And yeah, and you guys, just like last week, I still haven't figured out my new outro because I haven't given it much thought. So once again, just keep it real, keep it functional, put the fun in functional, okay? Because I had fun doing this. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye now.